Hello, in this video we're going to be comparing the Sony Xperia Z2 with other smartphones to compare its physical size and dimensions and give you an idea of what the Z2 will feel like in the hand in comparison to other devices you may have seen or used. So let's start with the device that the Z2 is succeeding. It's the Z1. So here is the Z1 on the left hand side, and we can see on the side how physical thickness wise, whilst we don't have the exact dimensions, we're not actually going to make exact comparisons, just physically looking at them, they're very similar from all sort of angles. If we actually stand them up, you can see that the Z2 just sits slightly proud at the top there because it's a slightly bigger device. If we lay them down on a tabletop, they're almost identical in terms of their thickness there. And in terms of weight, well, the Z1 feels the slightly heavier, ironically, of the two devices, but there's next to nothing between them. Then we have the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact. So this is the squashed down version of the Z1, and you can see how the size is very different indeed. Thickness, the Z2 actually looks the thinner of the two devices, but I don't think there's actually much in it. You can see how the design trait follows through on the Xperia line of devices. At the other end of the scale, we've then got the Sony Xperia Z Ultra, which inevitably is going to be considerably bigger than the Z2, but you get an idea of just how much bigger. There's a great big expanse here on the right hand side and above. And thickness wise, the Z Ultra is the thinner of the two handsets as well, and that's confirmed when we lay them down on a tabletop. When you slide your finger across, you feel a dramatic drop down to the Z Ultra. Naturally, the Z Ultra is the heavier device as a result of its size as well. Now the Z2 has a pretty special camera, so it's up against this, the Nokia Lumia 1020. So let's compare these two for sizings. So you can see that the Z2 is definitely the taller and wider of the two devices. When you put them side on, you can see the bulge of the 1020 camera there poking out, giving this device the extra thickness. But you can also see how the 1020 is much more curved in comparison to the Z2, which is much squarer. And then when you sit them on the desktop, well, there's no comparison really. The 1020 is considerably thicker, not helped by that bulge of the camera. In terms of the physical weights, they feel fairly similar, to be honest. The 1020 feels a little bit top heavy because of that camera again. Going to bring in a slightly older device now. This is the Samsung Galaxy S2, which of course is a popular handset. And you can see how this device is much smaller. Now it's an old handset, but it was one that was widely used by a lot of people. Thickness wise, you can see how the Z2 is the thinner of the two units as well. We've then got the Samsung Galaxy S3 Mini. Now it's in a bit of a different league, but you may have used or be upgrading from one of these. So you can see how the size compares there. The Z2 naturally is going to be the heavier of the devices because it's got glass and much bigger. We then have the iPhone 4, dwarfed by the Z2. The Z2 wins in terms of its physical thickness, completely different design style, but premium is the word that describes both these. The iPhone is designed to feel the part, and the Z2 does as well. So last but not least, we've got the Samsung Galaxy S4, which is a very similar size to the new Samsung Galaxy S5 as well, which unfortunately we don't have at the time of recording. But you can see how the size differs between these two devices. There's not an awful lot of difference in screen size, 0.2 of an inch, but the Z2 is clearly the bigger and wider of the two devices. Thickness is comparable, but you can see there's more curvature on the S4 than the Z2. Established that the Z2 is quite square. different weight as well, S4 lighter because more plastic, whereas the Z2 is glass and aluminium. So there we are. That's a quick hands-on hardware size comparison of the Sony Xperia Z2 against other smartphones available on the market. Thanks for watching.